Hello, my name's Ella and I'm in Cambridge, New Zealand. I've got a bit of a different one for you today. I'm going to tell you all about my little adventures into checking out Creative Fibre here in Cambridge. Creative Fibre is a national organisation. They've got about 3,000 members and there's over 120 groups, I think, around the country. And they meet here in Cambridge once a week, every week, and a Saturday. And they're just around the corner from me, and I kick myself now because I have never gone before. So I got to go to my very first meeting this week, and they had their annual exhibition and Creative Fibre fair here in Cambridge in the town hall this past week. So I got to go to that, and I took a bit of footage to share with you. And I got to video all of the yarn bombing in the town, so I've got that for you to share with you. And I got to have a little informal chat with the president of the Creative Fibre herself. Her name is Vicki Klemm, and I was hoping to make it a bit of an interview, but I am not an interviewer, a professional or anything, so I'm hoping to learn to get better at that in the future. So I would call it a little bit more of an informal chat, and I was super excited by what she was showing me. She's made her very own mannequin to fit perfectly to her size. So she's going to tell you about that. She's going to show you her fibre art, and she's going to talk a little bit about Creative Fibre here in New Zealand. So let's crack into that first, shall we? Okay, so I've got Vicki Klemm here, who is the National President for the Creative Fibre
New Zealand.
Creative Fibre New Zealand. And I've been lucky enough to meet her this last week. And I've asked her to pop on in and give us some information about Creative Fibre New Zealand. And yeah, so just let's get started by introducing yourself and how long you've been with Creative Fibre.
Okay, so I'm Vicki Klemm and I live in Hokitika by way of California, and I joined Creative Fibre in 2013. I knew how to knit and crochet, but I was mostly a patchworker and a quilter. But when I went to my first Creative Fibre meeting, it opened up a whole new world for me. It was a totally different language, and since then I've learned how to spin and weave and felt.
That's amazing. Yeah, and we just got to see a little presentation of your felting, and you told us all about your homemade mannequin as well, so that was pretty cool. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so when I first learned how to felt, and I was taught how to nuno felt, which means putting wool onto fabric, I thought, this is great. I'd love to make my own clothes, and so I went to retreats to learn how to felt. And Shona Schofield, she has Felt and Fibre in Ashburton. She was talking one evening about how you can make your own mannequin. And I thought, oh, that sounds doable. So I went home and my friend Marge Riley helped me. I put on a trash bag over my underwear, just a black trash bag, and she duct taped me from here to my hips and just duct tape round and round and round. We did standing in her kitchen and her husband was walking in and out. It was quite funny. We had a great time. But that's how I made the mannequin. So Marge taped me up several layers of duct tape, and when she was through, she cut up the back, and I took it off and I took it home and I made a stand out of wood, and I put chicken wire around the stand and shoved some newspaper in there, and then I taped up all the holes, my arms, my head, underneath, and I sprayed in builder's foam. And that's what has made my mannequin, and it's an inexpensive way to have your own mannequin that's your size.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant, because it's exactly you.
Yeah, it's exactly me.
Make your pieces to fit you exactly. That's
and
amazing.
Sometimes it's shocking to look and see, oh my gosh, is that what I look like? But it is you, and so you got to embrace it, and it's so helpful when you're making clothes.
Yeah, It's great. I wonder if I can do it. My brain's just going a million miles an hour when I saw that idea. I thought, oh.
It's a really inexpensive way to get a body form that's your shape. Because if you go to the store and you buy a mannequin, they're never your size. Yeah. So this is a way to get it so it's your size.
Brilliant. Perfect.
And there are videos on YouTube on how to do it if you get stuck or whatever. Yeah.
Cool. Right, well now we've got the elephant in the room out of the way. Vicki's going to show us some of her lovely garments after this segment, but let's just talk more about Creative Fibre New Zealand and how that works.
So Creative Fibre New Zealand, there are groups all over the country. There's almost 3,000 members, and they're all over the country, small groups, big groups, and it's a place where we pass on the skills of spinning and weaving and knitting and crochet and felting, because if we don't pass on these skills, who's going to pass them on? And it's just a fabulous world of people who are like-minded. They understand why you have a room full of wool and yarn and and fabric, and they're just so willing to share what they know with you. It's just been great, and it's a totally new language. When I walked into my first meeting, they were talking about nitty naughties and lazy Kates, and I was like, what are they talking about? And so I wanted to know, because I love to learn things, and so I have learned so much, and I continue to learn. Every time I go to a workshop, I learn something new. And some people don't go to workshops because they say they've been there, done that, but I find that if I go to a workshop, I learn something new every time.
Yeah, because you've got all that wealth of knowledge with everybody sharing.
Yeah. I mean, we have members that are over 100 that still belong to Creative Fibre, and the wealth of knowledge that those ladies and men have is incredible. Yeah.
So exciting. I just went to my very first meeting today, and you were talking about your wonderful felt garments and how you felt pieces that you found from the op shop together, and that was so incredible to me. And I found out all about what I was actually there for, which was weaving. One day I want to learn how to weave, so I'm going to go along and learn how to weave.
Yeah.
As soon as I've made all the jumpers I want to make, I'll be hopefully getting into weaving as well. So
it's a perfect group to belong to if you want to learn something, because you're going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And it also gave me a place where I could volunteer, because I retired from nursing about 5 years ago, and so I've been, the group treasurer, and then I was the area delegate, and now I'm the president of Creative Fibre. So it's really given me an avenue where I could volunteer for something that I'm passionate about.
You've also been travelling around visiting the different groups since you became president.
That's kind of one of my goals when I became president, was to travel around and see different groups and meet these wonderful people that are out there creating and passing on the skills that, if we don't do it and pass it on, it's going to be, people aren't going to be spinning or weaving so it's good that we're passing it on and teaching the next generation. And
it's attracting a lot of newer, younger members too. So in Cambridge there is a group that meets on a Saturday too, because that can be a little bit restrictive sometimes for people that want to learn, but they're still working full time. And some of these groups like this tend to meet during the week and a weekday, and sometimes it's hard for people to get to. So Cambridge has a Saturday meeting once a month too. So
that's really good. In Hokitika we have a day meeting on the second Tuesday, and then a night meeting on the fourth Tuesday, so that people who work can come to a night meeting.
That's really cool.
And if we do education, we try to have it on a Saturday so people can attend.
That's good. So would you like to show us some of your
garments? I can. I didn't have them organized.
I kind of sprung this on you at the last minute,
So this is the first thing I made. So when I went to retreats, I'm going to move that. When I went to retreats and I learned how to felt, I didn't want to make an all-in-one garment. Some people felt garments, but they use 6 meters of silk, or whatever and put wool on it. And that was overwhelming for me. So I made pieces. So I'd make pieces, and then I thought, okay, what am I going to do with these pieces? And since I was a patch worker, I thought, well, I'm just going to patch them together and make a piece of fabric, and then I'll make something out of it. So this is the first thing I made. And it's op shop scarves. It's all kinds of material. I don't know, some of it, this might be silk, but this is probably polyester. And so as long as you can sort of breathe through the fabric, you can probably felt it.
Wow.
Yeah, so
So
it has,
interesting.
so it's wool on one side, wool, and then it's on the fabrics on this side. So you only put wool on one side. And then water and soap and manipulation, which is rolling, rubbing. You can sand it. There's several ways you can felt, but anyway, this was my first garment.
Wow, it's so interesting how it comes through the fabric, and you can still see some of the fabric, but mostly the wool.
Yeah, so the wool migrates through the fabric, and the wool shrinks, but the fabric doesn't, and so you get this neat ruching of the fabric because it's the wool's scrunching it together. So I really love the texture of it.
Yeah, it's got so many different textures depending on what you've used, I guess, in the background. I'm just going to move the dog because the dog is scratching at the floors.
So it combines two passions. I love to op shop, and I love to find treasure. So finding scarves that I can felt is really fun, and I feel like I'm repurposing something and making it into something else that I can wear.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love it. I love op shopping, and I love finding little treasures, and the fact that you can reuse them and make them into something amazing and unique as well. And the piece that you're wearing is...
Yeah, the piece I'm wearing was different scarves. I tend to leave the tassels on where they may be. This one has tassels hanging off the bottom. I'm more of an organic kind of person, that I drape my mannequin with the fabric, and the fabric tells me how it wants to be made into a garment.
Lovely.
So this one I made because I really liked the scarf that I found. It kind of reminded me of Frida Kahlo, the print on it.
I love this one.
That's the right way around, yeah. So this scarf, I just love the pattern on it. So I felted it. I just didn't put very much wool on it. You can still see the scarf through it, but I liked the way it ruched up, so I just draped it over my mannequin and cut out a neck hole. And then this was a vest that I had made once upon a time that for some reason got too small, so I cut it up and used it for the edging and for the sides. You can see I had to put it on the sides because the scarf never covers enough. So
the vest, you'd knitted that and then it accidentally
No, it was felted.
Oh, you felted. Okay, a felted vest.
I did the same. I felted pieces of material.
Right.
And I made it into a vest.
Yeah.
But then I didn't really like the way the vest felt, and it was tight, and I thought, no, I'm going to do something else with it. So I cut it up to make panels around the arms and the neck.
Great.
And that's the great thing about felt, is if you don't like what you've made, you can always make it into something else.
Okay.
Yeah, and after you felt the material, you can cut it and it won't fray.
And so these pieces are coming through from the original fabric, or from...
So somebody, Jill McLaughlin, she used to live in Temuka. She took me under her wing and she taught me how to lay pieces of material. And I can't remember if there's silk through this. I can't remember because it was a long time ago, but these are different pieces, random pieces of material sandwiched in between the wool and the silk. I'm pretty sure it has silk in it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they didn't really felt, but the wool and the silk felted, so they're just kind of trapped in there.
They look amazing like that. It's just really incredible. I love that. It's a real art piece, and you get to wear it.
Yes.
And I bet you get a lot of comments on it.
I do get comments, and I like the fact that nobody's going to have an outfit like this.
Yeah.
So you can make very original outfits. And I like that. I like being different and yeah. So this one, I found 2 scarves at the op shop, and they both had stars on them, and I thought, oh, that'll make something. interesting. Alright, so I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. So this was a scarf. You can still see the scarf because I only put felt wool on a certain amount. See, I put black wool on this one. And so, yeah, I made 2 pieces and I sewed them together and then made this little flower just to make it more white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's different on the other side. And you can still see the stars in the top that were in the original scarf. It's just very subtle but lovely.
Yeah. So this one I put white wool on, and the front I put black wool on because that's just what I had. So, yeah.
It's very interesting. Uh-oh. Now I think maybe I want to get back into felting. I had a good go at felting about 20 years ago, and I've still got a whole bag full of wool.
Yeah.
And I just had a small go, but as usual, I go down a rabbit hole and buy all the things. So
it's easy to go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I made a few Steiner type needle felted dolls and just a little piece of wall hanging or something it was. That's as far as I got. But there was no group that I knew of back then, and I think that will make the difference, because if you've got someone that can demonstrate and help you with it with Creative Fibre.
If you go to a
groups,
if you go to a felting retreat, that's usually 3 days long. You're felting every day, and people there are so talented, and they're willing to help you, teach you, and give you advice. And that's where I learned.
Yeah. Oh wow! So you actually went to a retreat?
I've been to several. Yeah, I went to Glenroy, which is Southern Felters out of Christchurch.
Okay.
I went to that one, and then I go to Teapot Valley almost every year, and that's up in the Nelson Marlborough, Motueka area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's live-in. It's usually at like a Christian camp where you live in, and they feed you, and all you do is play all weekend felting, which is great.
12 wants to play. I'll just lift them up so people know what all the scratching and noise about. So this is Teddy. Say hello, Teddy. Hopefully the scratching is not going to be annoying in the video. That's
okay. Do you want to see anything else?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one's lovely too. Okay. They're all lovely, but every time I think one's my favourite, I see another one.
They're different. Put this on the right way this time. So this was a sari silk that my friend Alyssa Dennett has given me. She had a box of silks that she wasn't going to use, and so she gave this to me, and so I felted it. I put kind of a whatever that color is, maroony, and so I love the way it came out. The sari had a little edge on it that was didn't felt, but I like that, and I like to use the edges that don't felt in the garment. Just it's more organic, and yeah, I like it.
Yeah, they're definitely an art piece. You're very, very talented, not just for the felting, but the way you've put it together, and it fits you so well because you've used your mannequin. But how do you do that? I mean,
I kind of just drape the fabric on the mannequin and see which way it's going to work, and it's like, okay, the piece is this wide, so okay, that'll be the front piece, and it never is enough fabric to do the to complete it. So you'll recognize this fabric was from the red dress that I showed you earlier. So I had leftover. I don't throw away any scraps, which because I'm going to use them somewhere. Yeah. So to fill in the spaces where you don't have fabric.
Yeah. So clever.
So that's the back. So yeah, the fabric was only so wide, so I just kind of pin it together and see how it wants to lay.
And because this was a sari piece, it was much wider in the beginning.
Yeah. So when I first started felting, I put on a lot of wool, and I've since learned from people like Nancy Ballesteros in Perth. She had a company called Treetop Color Harmonies, and she taught me how to felt using minimal amount of wool, about 25 grams per square meter,
Right.
which isn't very much wool at all. And the fabric shrinks more, but it also gives you a nice drape. It's not heavy felt, it's nice and drapey and soft, and yeah.
And forgive me for not knowing much about felting, but is that a common way that people do it, using a piece of fabric first? Or
So
just
this is
one of the many different methods?
this is called nuno felting when you put it on cloth, but a lot of people just will use felt wool only,
Right.
and that makes coats and other things. But I like to find things at op shops or fabric that somebody's given me and felt that.
Okay. Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for showing us that. Just getting back to the Creative Fibre groups, would you say there's a real cross-section of people that go at, mostly knitters or mostly spinners, or is it really a cross-section?
It's a cross-section. There are some people that only knit, some people only crochet, some people only weave, and then there's a lot of crossover. I mean, I do a little bit of everything, just because I like different things, but there are all kinds of...
Because you spin as well?
I learned how to spin since I joined Creative Fibre. I didn't think that I was going to, but then I went to a retreat where there were 40 women in a room spinning, and I watched them, and everybody was different. Their wool that their yarn they were making was different, and I thought, maybe I could learn how to do that. And so I did, and now I spin my own yarn and knit, and I love it. And it's great to process wool from the sheep to the garment. I mean, it's a lot of work,
such an amazing feeling.
It's fabulous. Yeah. No, it's great.
Oh, one day, hopefully I can do that too. So fingers crossed. So thank you very much for talking to me today. It's been wonderful to have you here, and I look forward to meeting you again one day, because I'm going to join Creative Fibre, and learn how to. I think I said weaving before, but it's spinning I want to do. So I want to do spinning, maybe weaving in a few more years.
You met the group at the exhibition, and they're just a great group of ladies. Take you in. They
were so welcoming and so lovely, and I felt very at home. It was very relaxed. So it's a great group to check out if you have one in your area, which I'm sure you do, or close by. You can go and check them out.
And it's open to all ages, men, women. We have a couple of men in our group, and it's just great to see them spinning and knitting. And I know there's a lot of really good men weavers in our group, in the whole organization. And it's amazing. I mean, it's open to anybody.
It's very exciting for me. Definitely very exciting. A new chapter, a new group to belong to, which is going to teach me so much, and hopefully I can give back somehow. Knit up some things for the yarn bombing next year.
Cambridge had an amazing yarn bombing.
So I will leave it there, and
bye. Thank you.
So like Vicki said, it's a fantastic resource, and you probably have a group near you in your area. And Creative Fibre is an international thing, so there may be one near you. So Google search Creative Fibre, and you might find a group in your area to check out, because I got to go to my very first meeting today, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I kick myself that I haven't been before, because they're just like round the corner. So I'm gonna join the organisation actually and become a member, because I thought it was so cool. I just had such a good time. The ladies made me feel really welcome, and I felt like I was sitting there knitting with a bunch of friends. They were so friendly, made me feel very welcome. And there was a great talk given by Vicki about her felted garments, and it was very interesting. And apparently every single week they have a different talk or demonstration on something different. So Creative Fibre is into knitting and crochet, of course, but they also get into spinning, weaving, felting, and all sorts of other things. So people bring along anything they like to work on and just join in. So it could even be stitching or tapestry or embroidery. So that's really cool, and I'm really excited to join. And I just want to encourage all of you guys, if you've been thinking about going to a meeting in your area, to give it a go, because I think you'll really love it. I brought home a library book because they have a wonderful library there, and of course the talk was on felting today, so I brought home a book just to look at, because I have got a big clean sack, a big rubbish bag full of wool that I bought years and years ago that I think would be great to felt up at some stage. But of course I've got so many things to work on right now, that's not going to happen anytime soon. But it was very exciting to see that. So yeah, and so I thought I'll just bring that home and have a wee look, and I'll take it back next time I go. Yeah, so what else have we got? Well, I'll pop in a bit of footage now of the exhibition and a bit more footage of the yarn bombing around the town if I haven't already put it all in the intro. my main motivations for going along to the group is to learn how to spin, and they have special dedicated groups for learning how to spin, and you can even take home a spinning wheel and try it at home and borrow it for a while and see if it's for you before you go and buy one. So I think that's very cool. If you're on a limited budget and you want to give these things a go to the Creative Fibre group in your area and check them out. I totally recommend that, and I'm very much looking forward to it in my future, because I've got to knit all the jumpers that I need in my wardrobe first before I start spinning. But while I was there, the other thing that they have is a wool for sale table or shelves. And so they've got a bunch of wool that people have donated, or it might be their yarn stash, or they might have got it from skeins and be dividing up their big packs that they have at skeins. But they had this, and excuse the rustling, but they had this, and this is some hand spun alpaca, which is really cool. It's really soft, and it's been hand spun by a lady named Carol, and she had donated it, and it was there for sale, and it's 770 meters, and it's 420 grams, and I think that is at least a DK weight, but I'll see how it swatches up. But it's very soft, because being 100% alpaca, it's very soft, so I'm probably going to make a shawl or something out of that. But I just thought that would be very cool to have the experience of knitting with hand-spun wool before I get to learn how to spin. So I'm very excited about that. Look at the big bag I've got of it. So yeah, very exciting. And then I got to go to the fibre fair that was on in Cambridge, and a lot of the fibre was there for spinning and felting and things, and all the accessories and that. I stayed away from that because there's no point in me making a beeline for those right now, because I'm not going to get into that. But they had a few yarn traders there as well, and some of them that were there were your suggestions that I had for woolly wools, or yarn dyers that have non-superwash yarns. And I was very excited because one of the ones that I'd picked out to buy, they were there, so I could go and feel all their wools. And look what I got of it, a big bag full from the wool company. And I want to make a Stephen West shawl, or something from Tania Barley in her shawl patterns. And so I got a bunch of different colours, because this yarn is very, very affordable. It's 100% Corriedale wool, and it is not dyed, so it's all natural. And this was $25 for 200 grams of fingering weight yarn, which is very cool. So this is the colour charcoal. And I got this colour, which is the colour coffee. And I'm pretty sure that is coming up on camera exactly as it is. It's a nice beigey colour. And then I got some undyed white. Now I believe that this is straight off the sheep's back. It's all as it comes off the sheep. And then I got 4 different colours in the 4-ply, which was this colour. This is called silver. And that was really cool. And I got some DK weight to try, and that's in another colour again, and it's called mocha. So I've got some huge amount of swatching to do before I decide exactly what I'm going to do with it. But it's lovely, soft, natural wool, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And next exciting thing, just put that back in the bag because I've got a little dog running around and I don't want him to get into my yarn. So I've got to put it back in the bag. When I went into the fair, the first stall that I came across was a dyer called Fibre to Go. That's her card. And she's Lynn Walsh, and she had beautiful non-superwash dyed yarn, which was actually really gorgeous, and she had a lovely sample of it there that she'd knit, and I really did like it, but unfortunately by the time I circled around the fair and got back to her, I'd blown the budget. So I think if I'm all going well at Fibretron, I'm hoping that she's there. I've got to check the list of yarn dyers there. Fibretron is our local yarn festival in Hamilton. It's going to be here this month. Oh my gosh, only in a couple of weeks. Maybe I won't get to buy any more wool there, but I will certainly be putting her on my wish list for the future, that's for sure, because it was beautiful looking yarn and I want to check her out again. So the next exciting thing that I got a message from Dinny on my first video, and she's the little mill over the hill. No, the little mill over the hill, I'm right. And she has a mini commercial spinning mill that she bought a few years ago, and she's been spinning up wool. And it's gorgeous, guys. And she told me to go and say hello, so I did. And I was so glad that I did, because she had a jumper that was knit with this wool as a sample, and it looked beautiful. And I was so taken with it, I said, oh, so what's that? And blah, blah, blah. And what she had cleverly done, Dinny, she had cleverly worked out how much of her yarn that you would need to knit a certain pattern. And the pattern was by Alanna from Black Cat Knits, and it's her Calypso worsted weight jumper. And I've wanted to knit some of her Calypso patterns for a while, so I thought, what a good idea, let's just do it. And I did it. I bought the exact yarn that I needed for my size for the worsted Calypso jumper, and I thought that was very clever of Dinny, because I get very overwhelmed at yarn shops even, but especially the yarn festivals or yarn fairs, because I'm going there as a beginner to check out the yarns and feel them and squish them and see what I want. And I basically have no idea what I want to knit with them, because I want to find the yarn first. Yeah, it's so overwhelming. So because she had done that, it was practically like having yarn kits. So that was very good, because I was able to make a decision right on the spot, and she recommended this colorway to me. So this is beautiful. So I'm going to put that together. Now I'm talking a bit fast, I think, maybe because I'm so excited about it, because I can't wait to swatch this and get started. But I have to finish my test knit by Tania Barley first. So I've got to get going with my test knit, finish that, and then I'm going to start on this. So excited. But let me tell you about the yarn. So the yarn, it's got all sorts of different colours, similar to the way Spin Cycle spins up. So her little mill on the hill, over the hill, when she does her spinning process, it's kind of got a look and feel to it of hand spun yarn, even though it's not hand spun, it's spun in her little mill. And the yarn is turning out to be looking very much like a spin cycle. So I can't wait to knit that. I'm very, very excited. Both of these yarns are slightly different. So this one is 100% Corriedale, and it's 100 meters 100 grams and 200 to 210 meters per 100 grams, so that's like a DK. And then this one, in this sort of mustardy colour, and it is called mustard. What colour is that one called? It's just painted skeins, hand dyed for colour work, it says. It's quite cute because it says shed made small batch. Anyway, this one is a blend, which I didn't realise at the time, but she had put this exact same thing together, so I'm sure it's going to work out. But it is Corriedale and Merino blended with 30% alpaca, so it'll be very nice and soft. So watch this space, stay tuned, because I'm going to show you my whole knitting journey with all of that to make my Calypso Worsted by Alanna from Black Cat Knits. At least that's the plan at the moment. It could change. So the last little skein of wool that I bought myself was from Roxy Fibres, and it's hand dyed by Gillian at Roxy Fibres, and I had a lovely chat to her. She was a lovely lady. And so she's got a huge range of hand-dyed yarns, and she has a small amount of untreated yarn, which is perfect. That is exactly what I want. I want yarn that has not been treated for superwash, but has that indie dyed colour. So hoping that works out. I'm sure it will. It feels really good, and it looks really good. So it's hand-dyed DK weight merino in the colour Morning Coffee, and that is perfect for me because I drink about 3 cups of coffee every single morning, and I love my coffee, and all the colours in it are just lots of lovely nice browns, and it's got the cream in it as well. And I kick myself now because she actually did have 2 skeins of this. I should have bought them both, but I'd already broken the bank by that stage, so I restrained myself and only bought one, and I figured, well, I could probably get a Sophie scarf out of this, or maybe a double wrapped cowl or something. I'll see how it works out on the gauge swatch before I decide what I'm going to make with it. But yeah, really excited to find her, because definitely in the future I'll be looking out for her at yarn festivals, because I'll be able to get what I want from her in DK weight. Yeah, so love that. So I think that's all I've got to say to you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you are here at the end of the video, please like and subscribe. Apparently I meant to say that. But I hope that you weren't too dizzy as I showed you around the exhibition, and I hope that the interview turns out okay after editing. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do comment, please let me know if you've got a Creative Fibre group in your area, and have you gone to it, and if you do, what do you do there? I'd love to know, because I'm very excited to join our group here in Cambridge. I'm really super excited, as you can tell. And yeah, I'll see you next time, so bye.